Hello, my name is Donald Walls. This is the second journal that I'm doing for my Command Cart Sergeant Majorship for my CAS blogs. And in this one, I want to talk specifically about what I think were the hardest things that I had to do while I was in this job. Because it was under increased strengths and known areas of weakness that I've had. And I want to talk about how I found that if I'm in a crisis situation, I'm very good at making short fixes. Like if something's not going to plan, then I can actually, figure out how to make it. I take, for example, there was a day in which I had a Command Sergeant Major event, color guard that I had to do. I had to take the ACT, and I also had work. And how that ended up being was from 8 to 12:30, I took the ACT. 12:30 to 1, I had enough time for a short lunch break, and then from 1 to about 11:30 at night, I was either working or at the color guard event. What was very lucky about it was that I was actually at the UNR football stadium, which is where I both work and where the color guard event was. So that saved a lot of time and effort, and I think that's probably the only reason I was able to pull it off. But the day started, I woke up, we were planning a big breakfast for the ACT. That didn't go down to plan because the alarm clock that I had set didn't go off properly, which wasn't fun. So I was woken up at 7:15, and I had just enough time to get ready before I had to go and take the ACT. I took the ACT, which, if you've ever taken those kinds of standardized testing, you'll know that they're a pain in the butt and they take forever and they're exhausting. But after that, I got dressed in my work clothes. I had my RTC uniform in the car. I go down to the UNR stadium and I start working. And my job is I have to run pallets of food and I have to take inventory of all of the concession stand food. And that's both repetitive and tedious, which does not make for an enjoyable time some of the time. I got stuck counting, pallets upon pallets of soda, which, you can't have it, and you're just there to count it, and it was a warm day, and it sucked. But I got through it. I enjoyed my job. I shouldn't be too harsh on it. I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. But then, half an hour before the actual color guard event, I had to run into the middle of a UNR bathroom, which at this time was already crowded. The crowd was already at the game because the event was at halftime. So I had to run into the middle of the bathroom, take up a stall, and dress out of my work clothes and into my ROTC uniform without getting it dirty or anything, because I was about to be on the field for everyone to see, so I didn't want it to get dirty. And I get, big surprise, I actually get it done. I get dressed, and then I run back out just in time to meet Sergeant Major Albin, who is my mentor in this position. He's the one that takes the Sergeant Major under his wing each year and is the one that kind of helps him figure out what he's trying to do and what he wants to do. And I meet up with him, and he sits there. He's like, "Wait, you're working this game? You must be crazy." Which, yes, I am. For future reference, I am very crazy. But we get the event done, and, we're leading up to the event. We're about to get there, and then we count, and one of the cadets that's supposed to be there is missing. And I'm freaking out about it. Sergeant Major Albin's trying to call and see what went wrong. And eventually I leave all of the other cadets with the gear which includes, decommissioned rifles and flags, and we don't want anyone touching them, so we had to guard those. I run up, and apparently, for whatever reason, they were told to stay at the front gate of the UNR building, and someone was going to come and pick them up. So they're just sitting there, not, they had been sitting there for quite some time without actually calling or figuring it out, which is fine, but it was just a nuisance at the time. So I found them. So I get them, I rush them down. We get all of their specific equipment on that they have to be wearing on top of the uniform that they bring themselves. And we have enough time to practice twice. And that's not even on the field or anything because the game's still going on. So we have enough time to go, okay, you're here, here, here. You're in this spot, you're in this spot. You're the one that's going to be holding the rifle. You're the one that's going to be holding the American flag. Shuffle them about. And bam, we hear our cue to go on, and I have to yell loud enough to keep up with the music that's playing in the background at the stadium, because if you've ever been to a college football game, there's not one point in time where they're trying to have a little bit of silence or decorum. It's loud, and it's a ruckus, and it's really fun, but it's hard when you're trying to tell people what to do. You can't exactly whisper. So I'm yelling as hard as I can. My throat's getting sore. And it was a very tricky routine that we had to do because the American flag has to always lead, but it's always on the right. So as we're marching out, the flag is in the front, but we had to turn right, which meant that the flag would be on the left. So I had to post the flag all the way back. And there was just the little white line that they had for the spot that he could do it on. He couldn't go on the field because there was a showcase going on behind us, and he couldn't go in front because there was a cannon there. So he had this very narrow line, and he gets it. The cadet who had the flag performs it, and we get the event done, and it's this great thing, Sergeant Major Albin, who's been in the military longer than time itself, probably kill me for that one, but, he's been in there for so long, actually said that he got chills from our performance, and I don't think, as the Sergeant Major, I've ever had a better compliment than that. And I'm just really glad. But to wrap the story up, we get off the field. He congratulates us. Sergeant Major Albin congratulates us, and we get all the gear packed up. And I make sure all of the kids are gone. And at that time, I get the call from my boss, who's working the UNR game, that there's actually a rush and they need me to come in as quick as I can. And so I have to run. I run into the bathroom, get changed out, drop my uniform off in one of the safe back rooms that we have, and I rush out just in time to get the supplies to the stands that I was working. And, I know it doesn't sound like much, but when you're working for, you take a test for 3.5 hours, and then you take 3 hours of working, and then you do this high stress, high attention, high responsibility event, only to go back to work, and then I was working until 11:30 at night that night. It was a long day. I slept through most of Sunday after that one. But yeah, that's probably the hardest challenge that I've ever faced in this position.